Um, as a UX designer, you'll start the design process by conducting research, building empathy with your target users, and identifying what exactly is their needs, experiences, behaviors, and goals. And this allows you to understand the patterns in the customers that you're designing for, and this helps the designer to target their designs around the users. Looking at how exactly user persona is represented. Next slide. It's usually presented in a single page document and has basic demographic details, motivations,
Mm.
core needs. And then there are traditional and also creative ways of representing user personas. In the next slide, we can see the traditional method of representing user persona. From the right side, you can see the main components included in a user persona. The fictional name, occupation, demographic, goals and needs, main points, relevant patterns or behavior, personality. These are all information that we as designers are supposed to collect when preparing a user persona. And on your left, you can see how the data is usually represented. Usually, it's very direct and includes all the information in a manner that you can clearly see.
Mm-hmm.
In the next slide, you can see a more creative way of representing user personas. In the first one, from your left, you can see it's more visualizing data. There is a lot of icons used, and this is preferable for some people. In the middle, you can see user persona for a gamer. The whole layout represents how gamers usually are. It represents how the personality of the guy in the user persona is. In the one on your right, you can see that this is a very short, very short, very direct persona example. It just summarizes the keywords of the persona. Um, yeah, Min will
Um,
continue.
so I'll be talking about developing the perfect user persona,
Mm-hmm.
or how to define the user persona. Next. So as Rausha has mentioned, before creating the user persona, you need to do research. So you need to have obtained qualitative and quantitative data, which will be organized into persona groups, which represent your ideal customers. So these persona groups will be then combined or united to form a single user persona. So what you need to really keep in mind is that when you're dividing the data into groups, that you need to focus on the major needs of the most important user groups, because at the end of the day, you can't really please everyone. And also it is essential to focus on one specific user group and one specific pain point, because it is easier to focus on one thing and to do it well. Next. So the first step is to, when you're creating the user persona, is to add a header. So you need to have a fictional name, an image, and a quote. This ensures that the persona is memorable and keeps the team focused on who they are building the product for. Next. So let's imagine we are creating a user persona for a reading app. So the name here is Chloe Smith, and we have an image of a stock image, and we also have a memorable quote. Next. So the second step is to add a demographic profile. Demographic profile can be divided into four main sections. That is personal background, professional background, user environment, and psychographics, which I'll be talking in detail next. So the personal background has information such as age, gender, education, persona group, and family status. Example could be Chloe Smith is 30 years and she's a single mother and she has a degree in software engineering. Next. So the professional background focuses on profession, income level, and work experience. So the example could be something like she's a QA at the indie game company and she earns $42,000 per year. Next. User environment, it represents the physical, social, and technological context of the user, meaning that it focuses to answer questions such as the technological devices they use, if they spend most time on office or at home, and how often they collaborate with others. Example can be she works from her office mainly on her laptop, but she also uses her iPad when she's free during the weekends. Next. Psychographics focuses on the user's attitude, interest, motivations, and pain points. So this enables you to understand your user's behavior in a certain way and including why they use your product. Example, it can be she's a fast-paced reader, likes hardcovers and boxed collections, pre-order books to get them first, hard to keep track of different series, loves binge reading and rereading. So overall, demographics, they make the user persona more realistic. So it can boost the empathy when exploring the user needs and goals. Next.
So the end goal, step three is the end goal. End goal is the motivating factor that inspires action and answers the question, what do users want or need to accomplish by using your product or service? End goals are the main driving forces of your users and determine what persona wants or needs to fulfill. In the case of Chloe, the end goal would be next slide, discovering new books and finding unique stories, cataloging book collections. So the next step would be adding a scenario. Next slide.
Okay, very good.
It's a scenario is a day in the life narrative that describes how a persona would interact with your product in a particular context to achieve his or her goals. The scenario usually defines when, where, and how the narrative takes place. They're typically written from the perspective of the persona and describe use cases that may happen in the future. In the case of Chloe, next slide. In the case of Chloe, the scenario is I love having something to read for my weekends. Weekends is where gives me a boost for the whole week. I personally would prefer buying physical books, but going and searching for the right book is difficult, and I end up always reading online. Reading online is where weekends is when I like to be updated on the newest releases and get my hands on them as soon as possible. Ideally, I would like to be able to get updates on all new releases and be able to keep a collection of my books. Collection of my books is how.
Okay.
For suggestions, each user persona is typically one page, which allows you to focus on the essential elements. As a rule of thumb, avoid adding extra details that cannot be used to influence the design. If not just affecting the final design or help make any decisions easier, omit the extra details that goes into a persona. It's a key finding to keep the customers in real life so you can test and validate your product with real people. Therefore, make sure that each persona is specific and realistic. Avoid exaggerating and include enough detail to help you find real life representation. We'll move on to a case study by Yasmina.
So this is a
Very good.
very small case study, and just bear in mind that this is done by a very small website, and it does not involve a lot of detail as we might have seen from developing a user persona. So first off, it's a website called Small PDF, and it's a platform that lets you convert, compress, and edit your PDF files online for free. So first, this is what they did. to build a user persona. So first they set up a short survey, and for that they used a poll tool on their homepage for a few weeks. And when I say short, it just means that it was comprised of 5 questions alone. These were the questions. So what are you using Small PDF for right now? What kind of documents do you process with Small PDF? What is your profession? Are you a premium user? And what was the last PDF related task you struggled with? And that is essentially what was an inconvenience you faced using Small PDF or any pain points. And step 2 was to analyze and draw conclusions. So they learned that there were a variety of users, starting from students, teachers, designers, administrators, lawyers, medical professions, and real estate agents. And as for what do they use Small PDF for, naturally, the use would vary greatly with the different user groups. What is something you could not achieve with Small PDF? With that, they had a clear picture of what they had to fix and improve with their website. So step 3 was to actually build a user persona. So after conducting in-depth research into the data they collected, one of their user personas broke down like this. So first off, they were administrative assistants, and their main goal was to create Word documents from a scanned hard copy document or PDF where the source file did not exist. And the main inconvenience they faced was that with converting a scanned PDF to a Word file, and they found that very difficult. So this is what Small PDF did to make it more convenient for those users. So first off, they powered up their PDF to Word tool with OCR technology, that is optical character recognition, so that their users could extract text from any PDF or image easily. Second, they also included several common languages so that users around the world could reproduce these scanned documents. And from this, you can understand is even if it's something done on a very small scale, better understanding your users can really improve their experience and change things a long way. And with this, Small PDF was able to increase their success rate by a whopping 75%. And this shows how important it is to truly understand your users and remember who you're actually working for, and you should keep their needs in mind at all times. So that's all. Thank you.
All right, very good.